The issue of qaza, it's a long issue, so I'm not going to go into detail. If you want to know the detail, just go to my website. I've written a lengthy article on it. But qaza is forbidden. Qaza is to remove a part of the hair and to leave a part of the hair. The second issue is, underlying that, what's the illah? What's the reason why the Prophet ﷺ prohibited it? Because it imitates the kuffar. As Imām Ahmad, when he was asked about the qaza, he said, it is something that I hate. And then he said, when they asked him, that is it imitation of the kuffar? He said, yes, it imitates the majus. In some of the narrations of the early Salaf, it imitates the Yahud, the Jews, because that's what they used to do with their hair. And likewise, it is something that the monks do. In fact, Umar, in the covenant of Umar commanded the Christians to shave a part of their head, to be distinct, part of their forehead. So the point here being that it is an imitation of the kuffar. So if a person, for example, resembles the qaza, like Sheikh Abdul Aziz bin Baz, he mentions that if a person removes some of his hair but not all of his hair, and he keeps the hair on top of his head, but the hair on his side, it is not to the skin, but it is short. Is that qaza? He said, no, it's not qaza, but it resembles qaza, and that which resembles qaza should not be done. It should be abandoned. Ibn Uthaymeen, he said that the least that can be said, it is something that is hated. And if it is an imitation of the kuffar, then it is prohibited, without question. Now, the qaza that is being practiced in the world today, is it from the origin of the Muslims or the kuffar? Or is it Islamic invention? It started in Karachi or somewhere? Or in Somaliland? Where did it start? It started in the Gharb. It started with their fashion, with the fashions of the kuffar. Then, the first people to adopt it from the Muslims were the fusaq, the sinners from the Muslims. So then the sinners from the Muslims become the buffer. They're the ones who then introduce it into the Muslim community. And then the weak ones from the multazimeen, those who are da'if in iman, then they will follow the fusaq and they will copy it. Then they will say, oh, but brother, it is only makruh. Say, the Prophet ﷺ did not make it makruh. The Prophet ﷺ prohibited it. Naha Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, naha Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam anil qaza. Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam prohibited the qaz in numerous hadith. He said to the man, when he saw that his son, he had part of his head shaved and part of it still intact, he said to him, either remove all of it or keep all of it. Does the man have a choice? Well, the Prophet said it, but at the end of the day, he didn't really mean it. He said, either keep all of it or remove all of it. Is there a choice that man had? So how can a person say, well, he had a choice? There's no choice, and there is no sarif. There is no other narration that I know of, unless someone wants to bring one, where the Prophet ﷺ allowed it, or that he saw it and he did not prohibit it. Because then you can say, well, here's another narration where the Prophet ﷺ allowed it. So therefore we can bring it from tahrim to makruh, from haram to makruh. So where's the narration? There's no narration. So therefore the origin remains. As for saying, well, the scholars differ, ya akhi, let's just leave it alone. No, why should we leave it alone? If the Prophet ﷺ prohibited something like he prohibited gold for men, or a person, like the Prophet ﷺ prohibited isbal, the trousers below the ankles. The Prophet ﷺ prohibited the shaving of the beard, or the cutting of the beard, except with the exception of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, who used to cut after 4 fingers, or after a fistful. So all of these are prohibitions from the Prophet ﷺ, the wearing of silk for men. So now a person comes and does all of these things, and he says, well, I have Salaf. I have Salaf. Like Ibn Mubarak, when he spoke about some of the Salaf, and he said, what do you think about Fulan and Fulan and Fulan from the Tabi'een? He said, they are great men. He said, well, they allowed, he said, then what do you say about the exchange of 2 dirhams for 1 dirham in one sitting? 2 dirhams for 1 dirham. They said, this is riba. He said, well, they allowed it. Did they consume that which was haram? And then he said, don't use the names of the scholars as a proof in the religion. So the proof in the religion is what the Prophet ﷺ did. The Prophet ﷺ prohibited qaza. And he prohibited also imitation of the kuffar. So therefore, imitation of the kuffar is prohibited in their hairstyles, in anything that is specific for them. So, sometimes I get a text, oh, Sheikh, I read on your article on your website, and you say that those who do it, that they are just following the kuffar. But, Sheikh, how can you say that? Because I'm not following the kuffar. I'm just doing it. I say, why are you doing it? What do you mean you're just doing it? What kind of answer is that? I'm just doing it. Why are you doing it? You just do things? There's no thought process behind it? Why are you doing it? Well, I'm just doing it. What do you mean you're just doing it, ya akhi? Why did you shave your head? Why did you fade it down to the skin and leave the hair on top? Why? You did it because you're imitating someone. You're copying someone. مَنْ تَشَبَّهَ بِقَوْمٍ فَهُوَ مِنْهُمْ. Whoever resembles the people is from them. So you're copying the kuffar. Don't tell me you're copying any great scholar. If you're to say, I dress a certain way, I behave a certain way because, wallahi, I love Sheikh Muqbil and I spent some time with him and I learned some of his habits and wallahi, when I do it, I remember him. And okay, now you're following someone righteous, someone pious, someone who is al-zahir, and Allah, la nuzaki al-Allahi ahad, but from what is zahir, this is what the Sheikh was. But in your hairstyle and your garments and your necklaces around your neck, and you say, well, I don't hold it to be haram to wear a necklace. I don't hold it to be haram to wear a bracelet. So put an anklet on then as well. Why stop there? Why stop there, ya akhi? Put some anklets on as well. Let's go the whole way and do what the women do. Prophet ﷺ forbade the men from resembling women. Curse of Allah is upon the man who resembles a woman and the woman who resembles a man. What? Which scholars do you see? Sheikh al-Albani, Sheikh bin Baz, Sheikh ibn Uthaymeen, wearing necklaces and bracelets and ring, wear the ring, bas. That's what the Prophet ﷺ had, and some of the Sahaba they had, bas, silver or iron or whatever. Islamic identity and maintaining the Islamic identity is of paramount importance. It is very important that we do not lose our Islamic identity that is established in the Kitab and the Sunnah and the Seerah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and his companions. Jazakumullahu khairan ikhwa, barakallahu feekum, wa subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.